We're in Big Chute, and before we set sail on the Kawartha Voyageur, we're going for a walking tour around the Big Chute Marine Railway. This map gives an idea of how the boats cross this big rock and get into our side of the Trent Severn waterway. The boats are transported in slings by this big marine railway car and put down over the other side of the rock into the water. The Kawartha Voyageur is far too big for this system, so Big Chute is as far as it goes. They also have a small hydroelectric project next to the railway. Now it's time to get on with the cruise. Today our route will take us through Sparrow Lake, Lake Couchiching, and we'll moor tonight in Aurelia. We're now approaching our first lock of the day at Swift Rapids. This is the highest mitre lock in the system, whereas of course Peterborough Lift Lock is the highest lock of all in this whole system. Now we're heading into a man-made channel called McDonald's Cut. There are quite a few railway bridges on this trip that have to be moved, and this one is the Washega Swing Bridge.
There you go, just fired up now.
We're on our way again, and because it's after Thanksgiving and the canal is close to other traffic other than our boat, we'll be seeing the same bridge and lock operators for a little way along the system today. This is the Highway 11 bridge, and we'll go under it and out into Lake Chute. This is one of these bridges that the boat is too high to go through, so they flatten out the antenna array, they lower the wheelhouse, the captain sticks his head out through a hatch in the roof of the wheelhouse so he can see where to steer. We've just come under the Highway 11 bridge and we're now moving out into Lake Chute. We're now moored right downtown in Aurelia, so we're going for a walking tour, and we'll be leaving again bright and early tomorrow morning. For the first time we're starting to see some red in the trees. It's 7:30 in the morning. We're just leaving Aurelia as the sun comes up to cross Lake Simcoe, and at the end of the day we'll be mooring at the Kirkfield lift lock. Crossing Lake Simcoe had the potential to be pretty choppy, but in actual fact it wasn't too bad, and we all seemed to do quite well. We've just entered the channel where we'll soon be approaching the first bridge that's going to have to be swung out of the way.
Put on a show.
Whoa!
The next lock is going to be a shorter one than normal, so everyone has to leave the front deck and it collapses, and as we approach the lock the front will be raised up, making the boat quite a bit shorter. Another lock on this section.
Last trip of the year, is it?
This should be it, yeah.
Then what?
What's that?
What do you do then?
We have a little work over the winter time.
This is one of the older locks on the system where everything is still done manually. Another lock. This is another manual lock, and it's also another of the short ones, so the front is still up. Another railway bridge that had to be opened for us. Another swing bridge. We're now moving into Canal Lake, which is a man-made lake. We're approaching a very low bridge called Marble Arch, and notice the hatch in the wheelhouse is opening, getting ready for the captain to stick his head out of there as we go through this bridge. The antennas are already folded down and the wheelhouse is continuing to collapse as we get closer.
Everything's closing behind us.
We're now getting our first look at the Cockfield lift lock. This was built between 1896 and 1907 and is the highest elevation on the entire system. The chambers of the lift lock rise 49 feet and each chamber holds 228,000 gallons. We're now in the channel where we're going to be mooring tonight, and at the end of the season there is another lock gate at the end of the channel which is drained, and our boat, these two boats and any others, will spend the winter in a dry dock, getting any work done on them that's required. We'll be mooring here tonight, and this will give us a chance to walk back and have a better look at the lift locks. It's an early start this morning. We left our mooring at 7 a.m. and we're heading down several miles of man-made canals, crossing Balsam Lake until we get to our first lock at Rosedale. Then we'll cross Cameron Lake and we should reach Fenelon Falls by lunchtime. This one's going to be another bridge where everybody has to sit down. Our early arrival at the Rosedale Lock was planned so that they could take on some fuel, but this means the lock keeper isn't here yet, so we've got a chance to walk around. We've just been through the lock and we're starting our crossing of Cameron Lake. We're just coming into our mooring in the town of Fenelon Falls. Once everyone is on shore who wants to go ashore, they're going to take the boat through the lock. This is Main Street. This is another of these short locks where the front of the ship has to come up, and this is a really good example of how this system works. I think we're going to need our umbrellas. We're on our way again for a rather windy journey through Sturgeon Lake, and we're going to finish up at the town of Bobcaygeon, where we'll be mooring for the night. We're just coming into the Bobcaygeon Channel, so it shouldn't be too long before we'll be mooring there. Another lock, and then another swing bridge, and then we'll be moored in Bobcaygeon. Time to go shopping at the shoe outlet. We're on our way again, and it's day 4 of our trip from Bobcaygeon to Lakefield. We're going to be going through Buckhorn Lake to a stop at Buckhorn Locks and the village of Buckhorn. We're just coming through Buckhorn village and approaching the Buckhorn Lock. This is also a good chance to get some of the boat's holding tanks pumped out. We're now off the boat and walking around the loch. This seems an appropriate statue for the village of Buckhorn. We're on the way again, and we're going through Lower Buckhorn Lake, Lovesick Lake, Burley Falls into Stony Lake, then Clear Lake, Young's Point, Lake Catchawanoka, and finally we're going to be pulling in to overnight at Lakefield. We've just come into the loch at Young's Point, and this will also be a shopping opportunity. This is the view as we approach Lakefield and where we'll be stopping overnight. It's pretty overcast right now and has actually been quite cold and windy most of the day. We're almost at our mooring, and once they've got the front gangway cleared, we'll be able to go ashore. We've gone for a walk and found a nearby marshland conservation area with a lookout tower. It's day 5, the last day of our cruise. We've just left Lakefield. We're going down the Otonabee River through a series of locks, and we'll finish up going down the Peterborough lift lock sometime after lunch. The weather has definitely changed. Before the cruise finishes, it might be interesting to look at the cabin deck, showing how tight we are for space here, with a view up to the showers at the end of the deck, and then turning round and walking back towards the front of the ship, showing the door where you go out to the sitting area on the front deck. Here are the steps up to the dining room, and there's also a small elevator. Now we're going by some of the buildings at Trent University. One more swing bridge to go through. I don't think I'd like to live somewhere where the river is higher than my house. We're now on the approach to the Peterborough lift lock, and this is what everyone has been looking forward to. This is lock 21. It was opened in 1904 after 8 years of construction, and with a drop of 65 feet is the tallest lift lock in the world. We're now moored for a great picture opportunity. The bus has just arrived to take us back to our cars at the Peterborough Holiday Inn. The whole crew has gathered on the front deck to wave goodbye. And our movie is now over.